from a competition standpoint, where are you now with that in terms of, individual battles, position battles, and I guess when do you expect maybe that ramp up to happen, for your better evaluation to take place?
Yeah, on Wednesday, that would be, I think, the day to start giving us a chance to more closely evaluate, some of the competitive nature in terms of players getting to, get after it against each other in physical settings. We've really, tried to keep the activities really focused on, again, building connection, understanding each other, players learning, each other's personality and energy and, how we get along on the court, the way she likes to receive passes, who can shoot, who can dribble, just really understanding one another. And we feel like that's been great these first couple of days, the activities. Mentioned yesterday about our, from the performance side in terms of just our overall strength and conditioning levels is a high priority for us this season. So we're building that into what we're doing every day. So Wednesday will, be a more, competitive type of day in terms of the question you're asking. And, we'll start to see how, different pieces fit together and where things, will start to look from a lineup perspective and some things that we want to have in place by the time we get to any opportunities we'd have to play, preseason game.
Thanks. We'll go over to Sabrina Merchant, SB Nation.
Hey, Derek. I know that you obviously had a lot of time to scout your rookies heading into the draft, but it was a weird situation where I'm sure you didn't get to see them as much in person as you might have in other years. So I'm curious, what stands out to you, like seeing them in the flesh, among these rookies that you've brought into this year's training camp?
Yeah, definitely learning, more than, what you can study on video, game situations, conversations with coaches. It doesn't always speak to, who a player actually is and, not just in her game, but who she is as a person, her day-to-day work ethic, the way she approaches doing something that she loves to do. So, everyone's been great. I think Jasmine and Stephanie have been, fantastic, just in terms of like how hard they work, the way they listen and are attentive to what we're trying to do. And, it's not easy to go from, playing in the NCAA tournament and, less than a month ago, and then all of a sudden you're in a professional training camp, and so they've all done a good job. But we're learning a lot more every day, every rep. We get a chance to see the things that they actually are capable of doing that maybe didn't show up on video, and we've been positively, pleasantly surprised so far.
Go to Brady Klopp for SB Nation.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Brady.
I'm wondering, you have so many new players this year, even more so than in the last few years. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think NECA and Sid are the only players who have been in all 3 training camps with you at this point.
Yes.
What are the challenges there with trying to incorporate so many new players? How do you go about that? How do you get people up to speed and still prioritize roster decisions, but also getting the team ready for opening day?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think, the challenges in some ways are, yes, the newness in terms of the trust and the connection and, the chemistry and camaraderie that starts to build over time. When you have players that have spent some time together, those things are natural. Like, if you have years together, there are things you don't necessarily have to say. Your teammate just understands that about you. And we're going to have to, give ourselves some time to build those things in. But for us, we were more so viewing it as opportunities, to build new and to approach things differently. And, we were specific about the players we targeted in free agency and in the draft that could better speak to the way we want to be able to play. And so we're kind of excited actually about, the new faces and the new players because they present more opportunities for us to do some of the things that we want to do. And because of the people that they are and the way they carry themselves, our gym is popping. Like it's just a lot of energy and the first couple of days, you kind of expect that. So, that'll start to probably change a little bit on Wednesday because, everybody knows who's here and it won't be easy to make the final decisions that we'll have to make. And you can tell that everybody's quite aware of that. So it's a positive, I think, at the end of the day. Your question, that newness is a positive for us, and we're not seeing it as a challenge. And I think from a coaching perspective, it's exciting because it allows for us to expand on some of the things that we wanted to do that we feel like these new players give us the chance to explore more.
So 2 more per coach today. We'll go to Chris Camella with Nightcast Media.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Doing well, sir. I wanted to kind of do a different take. I noticed a lot of baseball teams in recent years, they like to stockpile, especially during spring training, a certain type of position to create competition. Was that in the back of your mind by, drafting guards, signing guards, so that way you could kind of create that competition? You mentioned the opportunity aspect, but competition sometimes gets the best out of some of these players. Was that in the back of your mind, creating options, but also at the same point in time, competition as well?
Yes. Back of the mind, front of the mind, all over. That's exactly what the thinking was in bringing in players that, like you said, would have an opportunity to compete for roster spots, for minutes, for everything that they want to achieve in their careers. Like that, the opportunity will be here. But it was very intentional to, like you said, to add multiple players that can do multiple things, that are similar in size, similar in potential versatility and upside, so that we can do the things that we really envision doing offensively and defensively. And so having as many of those players as possible in camp was for sure intentional. And, ultimately the final roster hopefully can also resemble that concept. But, we'll have to see once we start competing a little bit more, get some players into some game situations and, things that they'll see in their professional careers, then we'll get a better feel for who's ready to do that sooner rather than later.
Last one for Coach. We'll go over to Roz Golden-Rude with Spectrum Sportsnet.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Roz, how you doing today?
Good, thank you. I was just curious. I know it's early, but who's been most talkative? Who are some big talkers so far? And what are you seeing emerge around leadership core?
Oh man, we and we have a lot of talkers actually, which is good. From Erica Wheeler, who her personality, just shines through everything that she does. She is not hesitant to say what she's thinking and how she's feeling, whether it's about her own performance and accountability or her teammates. It's great to have Shanae back in the building. Like just her energy, her smile is infectious, and I think it helps to lift our team up. And it's great to see her back out there working hard and getting after it. And Chrissy Tolliver isn't as much of a talker verbally, but the way she approaches what she does, it speaks very loudly. She's like a machine. And she's very intentional about every move that she makes, the way she dribbles the ball, the way she shoots it, how she comes off a screen. Like all of those things are communicating to her teammates, how this should look. People expect Nneka to communicate a lot, but Nneka's always been very specific about when she wants to communicate. So we have that there. But I mean, Simone Augustus, Coop. The list goes on. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple other people, but like our gym is really filled with just great, phenomenal like basketball players, but also really good people. So yeah, I don't think anybody feels that they have to hold back, how to communicate. So the biggest talkers for sure are, probably the smallest person is Erica Wheeler. But there are a number of people that are communicating. I think Amanda Zawi as well is a leader and is very comfortable speaking up and speaking out. So those were things that we were looking for. Like the last couple of years, we struggled in that area. Honestly, we also wanted players that not just talking from a leadership standpoint, but just talking from I got her, you take her, cut this way, move this way, this is what I need you to do. That may not really always be leadership, but just communicating with your teammates. And that was a big priority for us in the off season.